I'm gonna tell you my story, but this isn't some crazy story about how I scaled my agency to 10K a month in 7 days using this simple trick. What's going on, brothers? I hope you're all having a blessed day today. Imagine we're sitting down for a chat. Just you and I, two kindred spirits on a similar journey. I'm gonna tell you my story, but this is a story that's been unfolding over the course of months. So, a little over a year ago, I was trying to find my place in this online world. The idea of being able to work from wherever you want in the world, buy all the things you want, do the things you want, retire your parents was very alluring to me. I was attracted to it, so naturally, I decided to chase after that. I imagined my path to success would be pretty linear.
Fatality.
My first attempt was Amazon FBA, and I was actually getting sales. I actually got people to purchase my product, but unfortunately I had to go ahead and shut it down because I was spending more on ads than I was actually making selling the product, so I ended up just throwing that one in the bin. So after that, I turned my eyes to the next shiny object, which I'm sure you've heard of, dropshipping.
I made my money initially through dropshipping or e-commerce.
Over the past few years, I've generated millions with dropshipping.
So this is my brand new, completely free product research method that enables me to find 100K per month dropshipping products.
I got a few people to come to my website, but nobody ended up buying a product. So just like Amazon FBA, I ended up quitting that as well. My ambition was beginning to fade. Thoughts started to enter my mind. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this online stuff just isn't for me. Maybe I should go back to my part-time job working at fast food. These harsh experiences had casted their shadows, and it felt as if I was in this endless dark tunnel. So these experiences gave me two options.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
So I decided I would give it one more shot, and that's how I ended up in the agency model, running an SMMA. I don't know why I didn't start out with this model, as it sticks out to me a lot more. This entire business model just resonates with me. So I kept pushing and I kept working at this model for a few months, and eventually I ended up getting my first client. So based on all of my previous experiences and everything I've learned along the way, I'm going to share with you all 3 core lessons that I used that eventually ended up in my success. The first one, as cliche as it is that you just need to put in the work. You need to put in the work regardless of what you're feeling, what your mood is, whether or not you're motivated. You need to work on the things that are actually going to push your business forward. In the case of an agency, don't worry about your logo, don't worry about the aesthetic of your doing outreach. Start reaching out to people, start spreading the word, start telling people of what it is that you do. Otherwise, how else are they going to find you? How else are you going to get a client? It took a while before I actually got this in my head. At the start of my journey, I would spend so much time trying to make the best website, get the best copy, instead of actually doing the things that would push my agency forward. I'm sure you've all heard of the Pareto principle.
Paper clips. We'll mix them into a pile and select 2 paper clips at random. We'll join those paper clips into a chain, and then we'll put them back into the pile. We'll repeat the experiment by selecting 2 paper clips at random and joining them into a chain. We'll repeat this experiment over and over again, each time joining paper clips into chains if we selected them randomly. Over time, there will be some chains of paper clips which get very long. In fact, chains which are longer will be more likely to get picked, and they'll form even longer chains. After we repeat this experiment over and over again, we can look at the distribution of paperclip chains. Because the longer chains were more likely to get picked, This is an example of how the rich can get richer. In our distribution of paperclip chains, there will be many paperclips that are single and by themselves, and a few paperclips which are very long chains. And this is where the 80-20 rule can be illustrated. 80% of the paperclips belong to the top 20% of the longest chain.
In my case, I wasn't focusing on that 20%. I was focusing on that 80% that didn't really matter, thus it took me so long to actually get any progress. Couple that with the fact that I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty lazy back at the beginning of my journey, not really feeling like doing any of the work, just wasting my time playing video games or scrolling on social media, and it took me a very long time before I actually started, seeing anything happen. My channel banner literally says, let's put the work in, and I wasn't putting in the work. Hence, I failed so many times since it took me so long to get to this point. Second lesson that I've learned is something I like to call the isolation mindset. In basketball, when a player calls ISO, they're basically saying that they want to have a 1v1 with their defender. Now, the reason that people do this is because it's a lot easier to score on one player than it is to score on their entire defense. But this only works if you actually know how to ISO, if you actually know how to get to the rim or get your shot off in time in an efficient manner. So what this means for SMMA is that you need to call ISO on your agency. One niche, one service, and one method of outreach. Instead of switching around trying to find the best niche or trying to find the best method of outreach or even the best service, you just need to pick one thing. Pick the thing that resonates with you the most, the thing that you're the best at, the thing that you know the most about, and stick with it. In my case, I didn't really figure that out until 4 months in. I was niche hopping like crazy. I went from roofers to landscaping to med spas to dentists. I was just hopping around trying to find the best niche when there really isn't one. You just pick something until you make it the best, until you get so good at it until it becomes the best. Same with outreach, there's cold emails, cold DMs, cold calling, Loom outreach. I've tried them all. It doesn't really matter what you pick. You just have to pick something and make it the best. You don't find the best, you make the best. The more you focus on one thing, the better and the more efficient you get at it. Third and final lesson that I've learned on this journey is the concept of free value. And when I say free value, I don't truly mean free value because everything comes at a cost. You're just delaying that cost for later down the road. You're giving away something for free in the hopes that you'll receive a return in the future. And this is extremely helpful when you're starting out because you have no track record. You have no social proof. People don't know, they can't trust that you're going to be able to deliver on your service. So when you come to them and say, hey, I'll help you out, I'll do this for you for free, when you actually decide to hit them with your offer later down the road, they're going to be more likely to accept because they already know what you're capable of, what you're able to do. Over deliver on this free value, you'll have that social proof, you'll have that credibility, and you'll start signing clients. So now I'll go into a little bit of exactly what I did to end up getting that first client. So now I'll go a little bit into exactly what I did to end up signing that first client. As I stated earlier, I was pretty lazy, so I started to lock in. I really started to put in the work and flesh out an actual game plan that would get me from point A to point B. I told myself I was only going to work on gyms until I got really good at it, and the free value that I was going to offer was chatbots. Soon I realized that the matter of outreach doesn't really matter, and I decided I was going to stick with cold emails as that was what was working best for me. And eventually, I ended up booking a meeting using that free value offer. To my surprise, they loved the chatbot so much that they actually asked me to create another one for them at an additional cost, and they even asked how much the first one would cost. Albeit this was only a low ticket offer, and I still have plans on transitioning them in the future. So the key takeaway here is that we're both navigating the twists and turns of this same path. As hard as it may be, as long as you keep pushing, as long as you keep moving forward, as long as you focus, as long as you do the things that you need to do, you will eventually get where you want to be. You will eventually get that success that you've always wanted. So, you've heard my story. Imagine what you can do in yours. Let's put the work in. Peace.